guys, it's Alice, and today I want to show you some fiction books that I definitely want to read this year. This is sort of a mishmash of all types of different genres and books that I've had for a while and books that are pretty new, and the first one I've got is Lethal White by Robert Galbraith. This is a mystery novel, and it's the fourth book in the Cormoran Strike series, and the mystery in this starts off with a sort of mentally disturbed man who comes into Robin's and Cormoran's office and tells them that he's seen a murder, but he disappears before they're able to question him further. And I suppose they try to solve the murder. I'm pretty excited about this because this is one of those series that I just know I'm always going to enjoy. The second one I've got is Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin. I only just got this actually, and I'm pretty darn excited. This is a prequel to the A Song of Ice and Fire books, and it takes a look at the history of the Targaryen dynasty. I feel like we've been waiting for Winds of Winter for forever, and I just need to read something from this universe until that comes out, so I feel like this will help tide me over. The next book I've picked out is Exit West by Mohsin Hamid. This one I'm especially excited for because I know a lot of people love it. It's a contemporary magical realism novel set in a country at the brink of war, and it's about two people who meet and fall in love, and eventually they try to escape from the turmoil in their country. And what's special about this is that in this world there are these magical doors that can whisk you away for a price. Then we have got Bury What We Cannot Take by Kristen Chen. This is a historical fiction novel set in the 50s in China, and it's about a family whose loyalty to the regime is questioned when the grandmother of the family smashes a portrait of Chairman Mao. And the family decides that they need to leave the country, and when they try to procure visas, the government will only give it to them if they leave one of their children behind to prove their intention of returning. It sounds like quite a harrowing story, but very intriguing. I've also got Everyone Knows You Go Home by Natalia Sylvester. This is another sort of contemporary magical realism novel, and it's about a woman who on her wedding night meets her father-in-law for the first time. But the only odd thing is he's dead, so he comes to her as a ghost. And what he wants is to be reconciled with his family because he didn't get along with them in life. It's a story about family, grief, and home, and it sounds really interesting. And I'm pretty sure that this author won the International Latino Book Award, which is pretty awesome. Next, we've got Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison. This is a historical fiction novel, and it follows an African-American man in Michigan from birth to adulthood. And the reason I got this book is because I read an excerpt of this in one of the vintage minis, and it was so good that I just had to get the book so I could read the rest. Then I've got a book that has been sitting on my shelves for quite a while, and it is Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. This is also a historical fiction classic. It's set in the American South, and we follow this fiercely independent woman through 3 marriages and a life marked by poverty, trials, and purpose. I have a feeling I'm really going to like this, so I really should just read it already. Then we've got something in a little bit of a different genre, and it is The Midwich Cuckoos by John Wyndham. This is science fiction, and it's set in a sleepy English village where this mysterious silver object appears and all the people who live there fall unconscious. But when they wake up, they seem to be unharmed, except for the fact that all the women are pregnant. It sounds absolutely crazy, but I love John Wyndham and I really want to read more of his books, so I think this will be my next by him. Second to last, we have got A Grain of Wheat by Ngugi wa Thiong'o. This is a historical fiction modern classic, and it's set in Kenya, and it's about a group of villagers whose lives are changed by the uprising against the British government. I've had this for a while, but I'd forgotten about it a little bit until I saw it on Barack Obama's favorite books of the year list, and it re-sparked my interest in wanting to read it, so I'm hoping to get to this one very soon. Lastly, we've got a book that I don't actually own, and I'm still a little bit undecided about whether or not I want to attempt to try and read it this year, but I think I do, and it is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. So I read War and Peace a few years ago, and I spent 6 weeks getting myself through that damn thing. And I sort of swore that I wouldn't do that to myself again, but Anna Karenina is a book that keeps popping up on my radar, and I feel like I'm going to love it if I can just get myself through it. I really want to read more Russian literature, and a lot of people call this the greatest novel that's ever been written, so I feel like I might try and attempt to read it this year. All I really know about it is that it's about a woman who has a passionate love affair, and it has terrible consequences. Okay guys, those were the 10 books that I had to show you today. I'd love to know what books you have on your TBR for 2019, and if you've read any of these books, I'd love to know what you thought of them, maybe especially Anna Karenina, and I will see you soon. Bye!